of the initial feedback that I got from my niece. So yeah, the plan is to do 30 days and then kind of end it a day after Christmas. Started with Blender, but that was...
So as a non-technical founder, how do you go about building a tech product by yourself? Hey Pras, welcome to the show. So we run Proxima together and Pras is one of the members of Proxima. And we wanted to capture all the stories of all the cool founders that are members here. So Pras, can you tell me about yourself and what you're building?
Sure. First of all, thank you, Shlok, for having me here. I was a little bit nervous. This is like my first time.
It's my first time hosting as well.
Oh, that's funny. So we're each other's first, huh? How special. So yeah, my name's Pras and I'm the founder of Goddo Labs and we're building an AI gadget for kids.
Okay, so if you had to describe what Goddo is in let's say in two sentences for somebody who has never heard of it before, what would you say?
So Goddo is an AI friend for kids, for them to learn, grow, and become confident.
Well, how did you get into this space? Like, why building something for kids specifically? What led you here?
So I have a very varied experiences in terms of working at startups or doing my own. But then the two most recent experiences. One was taking over my dad's preschool, Montessori preschool, and a daycare center. That's like one of the first times I interacted with kids and was in that space. And then the second was before doing the startup, I was a product manager at a startup that was building India's first parental control app. And during my time there, we kind of evolved into a fully fledged digital parenting assistant. And what I learned was, working with parents one-on-one and in workshops was how difficult it is for parents, especially with kids just entering their teenage years and the relationship that they have with their phones, and then the risk and the default panic mode that the parents are in. So getting exposed to that, and then spending a lot of time with my niece and seeing her interests kind of led to this idea.
So if I was to say that your product is a precursor to a phone for a kid, would I be right?
Sure, in some ways, yes. I mean, I'm not completely against screens. I think screens are awesome. What's hard is maintaining a balance, right? Because there are amazing things for adults on phones, and same applies for kids as well. There are amazing YouTube channels, Instagram profiles, like amazing learning apps, entertainment apps, games. But then it's very hard for kids to have like a proper screen time, and then it's very hard for parents to like kind of control that and manage that. So yes, in a way, this is a precursor to giving kids a phone. And by talking to Goddo, the aim is to sort of help kids build these good digital habits before they get the device.
So you mentioned that you're a fan of screens and you don't have anything against screens, but I remember seeing your first prototype. It didn't have a screen on it. It was just a device with a few buttons that a child could interact with. So what prompted that switch to, being pro screen on a device like this?
Okay, so I think it was like a very reverse engineering how I was going to market the product. So I think my whole USP was going to be no screen device. That's why I didn't have a device on the first prototype. But then as my niece used it and so did her friends, what I realized was when they didn't use it for a while, like for a week or something, when they went to school and they came back on the weekend when I handed over the device, they would kind of forget what those LED lights indicated. It was very hard for them to figure out what the battery status was or whether the Wi-Fi was connected or not. And then they would forget the color that would signify whether they should speak or whether they should wait for the AI to respond. So I think I had to make the call then to add a tiny screen. And again, I'm still in the iterative process of adding another screen, because the problem now is when kids see a screen, they automatically think it's touch.
Right.
They think every screen is like touch based. And the screen that I have put in the current Goddo version is not a touch screen at all. And if anything, it's just an informative thing. I don't want kids to be looking at the screen at all, right? They press a button and then kind of hear only when they feel like they have like the battery's running down or the volume's not too high, then they can kind of get that visual feedback. So yeah, to answer your question, right, I had to kind of add the screen just because of the initial feedback that I got from my niece.
With your marketing person's sake, when do you think you'll be launching the Kickstarter now?
I mean, the plan is still to launch a day before Thanksgiving on the 26th. Usually Kickstarter campaign can run anywhere between 30 days and 60 days. They recommend to do a shorter 30-day one for show exclusivity and get people to quickly like pre-order. So yeah, the plan is to do 30 days and then kind of end it a day after Christmas, so that like timing kind of
But
works.
Thanksgiving is not really an Indian holiday, right?
That's right. I mean, I mean, Kickstarter is not even something that any Indian brand has done. If I'm doing this, it's probably the first Indian brand that's going live on Kickstarter. Another reason is it's tough to sell to an Indian market, especially like new startups, new products. So like Indian market is like very skeptical about like things that haven't been battle tested or hasn't been like used by someone else. So crowdfunding kind of doesn't work in this country. But even my product is such that it works. It'll work. It'll be easier for me to get traction from the Western market first, and then once the Indian market sees that kids in the US, UK, and Australia, Canada, they're using it, that's when I feel like the Indian parents will also jump on board.
So, I mean, did you have like a clear indication of interest from the Western end that you didn't get from India?
Yes, I mean, first of all, certain products already exist in the US, right? There's a company called Magical Toys. They started something called Dino, and then they launched, I think they changed the name to Bondu. It's like a stuffed dinosaur toy that has more or less the same AI features. So there's already like a market there, and parents are buying it. But I feel like the mindset is very different with parents in the West, right? If they see a toy at the store and like, okay, if they see the shelf with it, we'll edit this out, right? So yeah, if they walk into a store like a Target or Walmart and they see a product on the shelf, they don't think twice about it. I mean, of course, there's a purchasing power that's better compared to here in India, but also there is this mindset of just buying things for your kids, and of course, if they don't like it, then there's always a good return policy and whatnot. So I think it's a very different like consumer culture, especially when it comes to parents and kids.
So, like, Indian parents are usually more skeptical about what they're buying and they put more thought into what they're spending money on.
Absolutely. I think it's a very aspirational market. Again, like I feel like the price point at which I'm selling, I feel like a large population, especially in tier 1 cities, can easily afford it and it's not going to pinch the pocket. One thing that definitely hurts is the monthly subscription. Like, Indians are not even comfortable paying for things that they enjoy, like Netflix and whatnot, right? That it kind of pinches them. And I feel like India as a country, we're kind of we're a bit spoiled because we're getting ChatGPT Go now free because of, it's just free. Then we got Perplexity Pro free because of Airtel users. I think because of Geo now, we're getting Gemini free. So we're getting spoiled, right, with all these things. So then me coming in as a startup and then charging $10 a month makes it very difficult to convince Indian parents to get a product like this.
And I think being spoiled is also a double-edged sword, because you saw the whole cursor thing that happened, right, in India. So cursor had become free for students, basically. If you had a student email, you could get cursor free for a year.
Is this when people started using fake IDs and then Cursor stopped doing this, right?
Literally. Oh, I was so sad. Like, I was literally 1 day late. Like, one of my friends had told me to get this offer and I was like, "Okay, kal dekh lunga yaar."
Right.
What was the big deal? So, and that's what I did. I waited 1 more day and it was gone. And it was really sad to see because it was a good initiative on their end. And yeah, shit happens.
Right.
But yeah, so what would you say your success metric is for your Kickstarter? Like, what would you say, okay, damn, this went really well?
If it sells anywhere over 600 units, I think it would be very successful at that point. Yeah, and even if people are not like buying it, but if people are just talking about it, I think that's good enough as well. But then 600 units, the reason why I'm benchmarking that is because then it makes me get an injection molded case and not a 3D printed case. Well, again, 3D printed case is good enough, but I think injection molded just gives that extra finish that I'm looking for. So with 600 units, I'll be able to like give my first batch with injection molded cases. So that works.
So injection molding, is it cheaper when you do it in bulk than 3D?
That's right. Because the mold itself, if you want to get a good mold, it's about 3 to 4 lakhs. Right, and it takes around 30-35 days to just make the mold. So you have to give the order, you have to like go through the CAD design, and again, maybe I have to make changes to the CAD design itself because the design that I have right now is for 3D printing.
Did you make the design yourself?
I know I tried to do it, but then as I said, this is a bit, you could pick up any CAD designing software and then kind of play around with it. But when you already have this PCB made and you want to make sure the button clicks properly,
what was your go-to CAD software? I mean, no sponsorships, but yeah.
I started with Blender, but that was not. Because I guess it was a
Okay.
free tool, and then I was already using Blender back in like 4 years ago. You know when what's his face, the guy who became very famous for NFTs, Beeple. When
Oh
people
my God,
became
yeah,
very
yeah,
famous, I was
yeah.
like, okay, let me look into this whole 3D modeling, making like random stuff. So that's when I got into Blender and I was kind of doing it. Uh, but yeah, of course, AutoCAD is like the go-to thing to go. But then again, I'm not enjoying the tool, and like I'm like, it takes a while to get better at something, right? You have to put in the hours. So I was like, do I really have to put in the hours into doing this, or should I like make the firmware better? Focus on reducing. I think a lot of time I've focused like in the last 6 months with Goddo is to get the latency to as small as possible, so the AI responds very quickly, because like kids have no patience, right? The minute
Obviously, yeah.
the minute it takes a second longer, like the kid like loses interest or doesn't like the product, right?
It's the iPad kids. Yeah.
Yeah, they need first the whole voice experience has to be like, if you just say something and you just wait for the AI to respond, like it's not natural enough, right? Ideally, you even want AI to be like as human as possible, where you cut each other off, right? Like people do that all the time. So if AI could do that, that would be awesome too. Which is something that I'm working on. With like the new PCB design, the mic and the speaker is sharing the same clock, so it is technically possible for the AI to kind of interrupt while the kid is talking, just to give that kind of a human-like kind of experience. But yeah, that's what I've been focusing on, right? Like reducing latency and making sure the voice is super expressive, and then the whole memory and personality layer. So doing the CAD design definitely was something that I didn't want to waste time on. So
Yeah.
I found, Fiverr and Upwork are great places to find people. And then of course that also had to go through multiple people who you could tell were like over-promising and would definitely under-deliver. But then I definitely found someone who had a very good portfolio, had worked on projects similar to what I was building, like electronic gadgets, like making cases for existing PCBs, and his work ethic was awesome. Of course, we had a few hiccups here and there,
Naturally.
Yeah, I'm a very impatient person. If I feel like, okay, this person's told me it's going to be ready on Tuesday, and then Monday night he's like, oh, it's going to take another 2 days, I am enraging. I go from 0 to 100 very quickly, and I kind of lose it. So I have to make extra effort to like calm myself down and like do some breathing exercises to not like blow up. But eventually I still blow up and like kind of have those arguments with the other person, and then makes the relationship a bit rough. But then those ups and downs are like part and parcel of the startup life, or even life in general. But yeah, found someone who's done a very good job with the design.
Would you say you're looking for a co-founder?
More than a co-founder, I think I'm looking for a founding team. See, I've interviewed a bunch of people, and I feel like a lot of the engineers that I'm finding from reputed schools would say something in the interview. They would say something like that, oh, this would be a great learning experience for me. And I'm like, dude, first of all, don't say that. Sure, it might be a learning experience for you, but don't say that to me, because I don't want to pay someone for you to learn it. I'm not like a VC funded company, right? Like if I'm paying out of my own pocket, I want to pay someone who's already done this before, or will quickly learn in their own time and then kind of apply those things, right? Like I'm learning on the job and like doing it by myself. So why would I want to pay someone else to do the same thing? But yeah, what I want are people with a founding mindset. Like I'm ready to give sweat equity in the company, so they feel like they're vested enough. But the founding mindset is like where you're not taking it as a job. You're not thinking 9 to 5, like clocking in, clocking out. You're kind of like living and breathing this idea. I'm not saying that I want someone who's going to work 14 hours, 18 hours a day. I'm not even sometimes I'll work like 16 hours in 3 days in a row, and then for 2 days I'll like just binge watch Netflix, like a new show has come out, just to like kind of reset,
Decompress,
right? Yeah, decompress, exactly. So and I would want that from like people in my team as well, where they like really push hard and like kind of, because the objective is there and we get that done, and then you kind of take your own break. And that only happens when people have a founder mindset. So that's what I'm looking like, right? A founding team of like people who have expertise in marketing, someone with AI, someone in hardware. I think I do already have someone in hardware. I just need to convince him with the vision, because that person is not so much into. And that's another thing, right? Like you can find people with a finding of a mindset, which I've found in Proxima. Everyone's our builders, everyone's founding, but then everyone has their own like space that they're interested in. Either they're interested into crypto or Web3 or robotics or something. But I need someone who's like in this space for AI for kids. Right? If they don't get excited with that space, then it's very hard for them to be obsessive and like wanting this in the long run. Which is, when I say long run, at least 2 to 3 years.
Got it. So one thing about your gadget, right? So this is supposed to be a toy for kids, right? It's supposed to be a friend for the children.
I don't
But-
like it when people say it's a toy, but like you're right. Like when I have to get when I registered my company, I had to put it that I was making a toy when I was wherever I go. Even
Where
on
would you categorize it?
See, again, I wouldn't say it's an ed tech device either. It's a gadget. It's definitely a gadget. It's a tech gadget. But yeah, because it's for kids, there's nothing else that you can say. So it has to be like it comes in the toy category.
So as a non-technical founder, how do you go about building a tech product by yourself?
Okay, I mean it's tough. I mean it's something that's not advisable. There's a whole lot of learning curve, and but if you're obsessed with what you want to build, like again, as I said, I didn't get into this thinking of building a startup, right? I got into this because I wanted to make it as a birthday gift for my niece. So that motivation kind of it felt like a hobby at the time. So I was just like, and something that I was like, hey, let's just learn this, right? I was getting into Raspberry and Arduino and these kind of projects. It was easier to like kind of get onto. There's so many YouTube videos on it. I was kind of getting interested into IoT, Internet of Things. Went to a couple of exhibitions here in Mumbai of like, 19-year-olds doing their college projects. I was like, I could even kind of build something like this. So I think that was like the easy part. But I feel like it's become so much easier because of these AI tools now that you can just tell it like, hey, these are the things that I lack. These are the things that I don't know, but these are the things that I want to build and I dream about building. And then the AI will just create some like a proper learning plan for you or like just guide you in the right direction. Right. But then again, when it comes to anything, whether it's like learning a musical instrument or anything in life that you do, at first you're going to suck at it. Right? Only when you keep doing at it and when you like, put in the hours, that's when you start having fun and then the end result also starts looking good. So yeah, I mean, these days it's even hard to say like a non-technical founder because like everyone has that. Before it made sense, but like now I think we all have like a technical super brain, right, with us. And the ones who are technical, I think they are like, if anything, they're going to work much faster.
Got it. So great. Thank you for the conversation, Pras. And thank you once again for being one of my first guests as a podcaster. And before we conclude, what would you say is next for Goddo and where can people follow your journey?
So I think immediate next is like the Kickstarter launch that I'm super amped about. Definitely want to do it between Thanksgiving and Christmas. But then one thing I'm excited about is I got into this accelerator program by Build3 and iHub. It's in Goa next week. The 4-day event is called Susgad. Do you know what Susgad is?
No, never heard of it.
I think it's like a Konkani word. Like I googled it. It means like to relax and just chill. Be laid back. So that's very interesting. But I'm looking forward to that because I've been a big fan of Build3 for the longest time. Are you aware of Build3 as an organization?
No, I'm familiar with BuildSpace, but I haven't heard of it.
Okay, so Build3 is like, I actually had applied for a job there back in the day, a couple of years ago. So they like kind of invest in startups that are focused on like sustainable, like green tech and stuff. Their seed checks are small, but then what they provide is insight, and they do workshops, and then of course they have a very good group of mentors and partners. And then eventually, you can put yourself out there in front of potential, people who can then be your seed round. But then I'm very excited to sort of meet other founders who are in the same boat as me. And then Goa, amazing vibe. Like the food is great there. I'm hoping the weather is good too. So yeah, that's next for Goddo right now.
Great. I want to wish you the best of luck for your Kickstarter campaign.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, all the best for your journey.
Thank you.